Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Mike from Fieldcraft Survival. I wanted to talk to you guys about everyday carry considerations for the wintertime. I watched Back to the Future and I like life preservers. I grew up with a vest, and I'm a big fan of vests before they became popular, which I don't think they ever did. But I like this vest setup. I'm wearing Vigilance Elite Flannel, which flannel is a staple to my wardrobe. I probably have more flannel than most. But this particular flannel is common for most people in this area. Actually, that's not even true. I'm just lying. I'm making that up. There's not a lot of lumberjacks in Arizona. So I might stand out a little bit, but not much. This is not standing out in jeans, Solomon's, a vest, a cool vest, and a Vigilance Elite flannel. But the benefit to this is so much more. When I was a CIA contractor, all of these considerations mattered in the field. My job aside, all the tactical considerations were super important no matter where we went. This is something that I'd probably wear wherever I was at. And so one of the things that you have an advantage here with is I don't have to take my pistol and tuck it away to where I can't access it. I want immediate access to my weapon system. Sometimes you guys have seen me with this Patagonia Atom 8-liter that I usually carry. I carry that in and around when I don't have the availability of carrying the pistol on my person. It's still on my person, but it's disconnected from my body because it's in a bag. And that's a disadvantage because that means more time. And so I have to set myself up. So part of this talk is a little bit about setting up and upgrading your situation. Look, if I'm sitting here like this and I'm just hanging out, the threat posture is, we'll call it red, amber being the middle ground and green being the go. So I'm red, there's no issues. If I think shit's about to pop off, I'm dropping this and opening it up. And that might be an indicator, non-verbal indicator to friends and family that shit might be getting a little sideways. That might be an indicator to your wife, to your kids, to go get their stuff and go away, right? And leave you alone. Or it might be an indicator that this is a bad situation. We need to get out of here. What I like about this is when I open this up, this is not a visual indicator to the public that things are about to go bad for the bad guy. So I open this up and I've upgraded my situation. Why? Now because I have ready access. I'm not a big tuck my shirt in, but when I wear a vest, I typically tuck my shirt in. Why? Because I'm carrying a pistol in between the shirt that's tucked in and the vest. This is acting as my concealment. This is my concealment. So when this is concealed, now I'm open. Now I have ready access to my pistol. In this case, I'm using my Minimalist Holster made by Fieldcraft Survival, which is the same holster that I carried while a contractor. I just made it for the company. Typically, we made those homemade. And then I have a Glock 43 made by Triarc Systems, T-R-I-A-R-C Systems. It's a custom Glock 43. And so you can see it's slightly offset from appendix. A lot of people think appendix carry is completely centerline. If you're wearing a belt, which you should, typically in jeans or pants for everyday carry, because you want to grab your holster or have a means for that clip to hold on to the holster to retain it when you draw your gun, it's not exactly centerline, meaning right down the crotch. So mine's offset slightly, which is good because I'm a right-handed shooter, and any kind of advantage of my hand having to minimize movement is just an advantage. So now I have this open. So another thing is my hands are typically in my pocket when it's cold. That's normal, right? But if I'm upgrading my situation and I'm standing by, I might take my hand out of my pocket. That's probably smart, right? I might take both hands out of my pocket. That's probably smart. But I'm not increasing a signature to anybody. I'm not bowing up. I'm not acting erratic. I'm simply lifting my hands away from my pockets. Another thing, and this is pro tip number 3 for upgrading your situation, is taking my hands and placing them somewhere on the material of my jacket. Again, that's a nonverbal cue to friends and family that things are going to happen, potentially, because I'm setting myself up for success. Not all bad situations that turn into defending your life happen off in an instance. Sometimes there's a lead up. Some guy gets loud, he gets crazy, he boasts himself up. You're trying to avoid the situation, but you could be upgrading your situation as you go through this. So I'm reaching down, I'm grabbing the material of my jacket. Why? Because I'm clearing space. I'm doing this so I can go to my concealed carry. That's important. The last and final pro tip is, yeah, in this case, I got bullets. You can never have enough bullets, but in this case, it could be keys. It could be a wallet. It could be whatever you're into. So I stick it inside my pocket on the side that I'm going to deviate the material in my clothing of my vest to get to it. All right. So here we go. Let's talk about the actions on perspective. When I'm training, I want to include the lead up and upgrade in my situation. So here we go. This is happy-go-lucky Mike. I'm like, hey man, everything's cool. We're all good. Things are starting to escalate. That could be behavior. That could be just inputs visually. It could be any of the senses of you taking in and feeling, even the sixth sense of feeling something that doesn't seem right. You could upgrade your situation. So now I'm like, okay, this doesn't seem right. My hands are in my pocket still. Oh, I got my hands on my keys. I know they're there. Things are getting a little bit more escalated. Now my hands are out of my pocket because I don't want my hands in my pocket. They're out here. Now they're right here. Maybe they're on their thumbs in the pocket. That's normal, right? That's what cowboys do. I'm right here. I'm just hanging out. And then I realize things might kick off. I take my hand and I put the hand on the material. Now I'm just going to do one shot for the sake of ammo conservation for this drill, but I'm here. And now what I want you to remember is when you train self-defense, don't train off a pro timer. We're talking about a cognitive process and decision that you have to make on your own. I always love it when I go, hey, shooters ready, stand by. And then I can see how violently they push the gun, how fast they push it. Some guys, they'll do this and they're like this. Is that how fast you're going to push the gun from your chest to extension or from your holster to extension when you're fighting for your life? I don't think so. So what's cool about not having an audible input and having a visual input that you have to create the decision matrix to say, this is the go criteria, here we go. Now you're on your own timeline. And that's super important self-defense because cognitively, you have to make that decision to defend life. And that could be based off of a visual, that could be based off of a sound, it could be based off of anything that you decide where you have to take a life to defend your own. So here we go. I'm here, I'm set up, I'm grabbing. Now I have a hold of not just the material with my little thumb and forefinger, but I have the actual keys or the loaded portion of this pocket. And now I can sweep it out of the way. And I'll just take this nice and slow, sweep, grab, draw, pop. And that's the consideration. Breaking it off might get a visual representation. I'm not doing this shit because I'm not tracking my gun to the target and losing situational awareness. I'm opening up my field of view. I'm looking and scanning left and right. And then I'm making the conscious decision because there is no other threats, because I've observed no other threats, that I'm indexing and putting it away. Looking at my holster, putting it away safely. Now, what I want you to understand is you have to move. It is preferred that you move in a self-defense situation. If you're standing static, imagine I'm a target, I'm the bad guy. If I'm standing here shoulder width apart, that's how wide I am, this wide. If I move back 10 yards, this wide. 50 yards, this wide. 100 yards, that wide. Nothing really changes for the bad guy. Because imagine the bad guy's holding a gun. He has to deviate his gun inches, sometimes millimeters or centimeters, just to deviate the gun to be able to get you. But if you're turning and burning, drawing the pistol and moving, you're setting yourself up for success. I know this was high speed and you guys are going to watch this 100 times. Subscribe and like, because that's what you guys do. Big shout out to Vigilance Elite. Big shout out to Treyarch Systems. Big shout out to all the boys at Fieldcraft Survival. Love you guys. Peace out.